Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. How are you? I am going this live. It's called Kemetic Starter Pack, but I really did put together a presentation at this point in time. So I just want to put some content out there. So I think I'm just going to do what I've done before and just read some text. And I'm going to put the link in the chat. So if I get lucky, anybody wants to come in, they can come in. So the link is in the chat from now. I'm going to read a couple texts. I'm going to come back and check and see if anyone is coming. So what I'm actually going to read, but I read this before, but it bears reading again. This is one of the Kemetic creation stories. So I think I'm going to read it again, do a little bit of commentary, and then hopefully by the time I'm done with that, somebody will come in. So this is one of the Kemetic creation stories. It's by E.A. Wise Budge. So I'm gonna read it, and when I'm done, anybody who wants to come in can come in. So this would be Kemetic Starter Pack Part 1. I'll put together a PowerPoint for Part 2. But let me just start off with this particular text, and then I can see what other texts I can come up with. Right, people? So walk with me as you normally do. Thankful for everyone. So shout out to everyone. You could um let me know when you come into the chat. So I'm going to go right ahead and get into what I have to get into. Right? So let's go. Let's go. I'm gonna read. This is from the Gods of I think it's called The Gods of Egypt by E.A. Wallace Budge. This is he entitled this one The History of Creation, Gods in the World. He calls this one version A. The Book of Knowing, The Evolutions of Ra, and Overthrowing of Pep. So we know who Ra is. Ra is the individual who, as we're going to get into this text, everything comes from. And it will show you how he emitted all of these beings and how all of us came into creation. It says overthrowing a Pep. And a Pep we know is the snake deity who is like the opposition of Ma'at. So it says the words of Nebuchadnezzar. So, but how to describe Nebuchadnezzar? They're saying that this is the way of saying that he was the only thing in existence at this point in time. So, something along those lines. I'm not sure the exact translation, but to me, it's like, the Lord of all, something along those lines. But don't quote me on that, huh? And, all right, which he spoke after he had come into being. I am he who came into being in the form of I was or became the creator of what came into being. The creator of what came into being, all after my coming into being, many, many were the things which came into being, coming forth from my mouth. Heaven didn't exist, nor earth didn't exist, nor had been created the things of earth and creeping things. And play in that place, I raised them up from out of the noon. And this clearly is a representative, this word noon, which they describe it as the primordial abyss of water. Because if you see, I can't say much, but if you can see the glyphs, it has three water jugs, a sign for heaven, the three squiggly lines for water, and then a myrrh symbol. From a state of inactivity, I found not a place I could stand, wherein it says here, Kautna, and its translation is I worked a charm. But I'm gonna I'm gonna go back over this, and I'm going to probably see if I can find out what a little bit better. Upon my heart, I laid a foundation in Ma'at. I made every attribute. I was alone, for I had not spat in the form of shoe. I had not emitted Tefnut, nor existed another who worked with me. I made a foundation in my heart, my own things, or by means of my own will, and they came into being the multitude which came into being of the things which came into being. From out of the things which came into being, of births, from out of the things which came into being, of their births, even I, had union with my clenched. Hold on, Joe. Right. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. I have something to do. Hold on 1 second. Sorry about that, people. Sorry about that, people. It was an interruption. The person didn't know I was on live. So I'm going to go ahead and go back into what I was reading. I've had you with my clenched fist. I drained myself in an embrace with my shadow. It says, I poured seed into my mouth. We're going to go back over that to show you exactly what that word seed was, because, right. I sent forth issue in the form of shoe. I sent forth I sent forth moisture in the form of Tefnut. My father Noon. Is that Noon? No, my father Newt. They make to be weak. They make my father Newt weak. My eye behind them. Because for double periods they proceeded from me after I became from nature one nature three. That is that is from out of myself. And after I caused, and after I came in earth, and after came in I came in earth, this into being. We were raised up therefore, Shu and Tefnut, in the inert watery mass, wherein they were, brought they to me my eye. No, yeah. In their chain, after therefore I had united, it says here my members, but that's, I think that word is more like my arms. I wept over them and came into being men and women from the tears. So this is where the word remech comes from, because the word to cry means remi. So that is why they call humans remech, because they're from the tears of Ra, right? Came forth from my eye, and it raged against me after it came, and found that I had made another in its place. I endowed it with the power I had made, having made to approach therefore its place in my face. Afterwards, therefore it ruled the earth, this to its whole extent, fall with what it hath taken possession of in it. I came forth from the plants. Creeping things, all creeping things, and things which came into being, and all things which came into being are in them. Gave birth to Shu and Tefnut. Gebenut gave birth to Gebenut, to Asar, Heru, Kenti, Amenti, Set, Aset, Neberhet, from the womb one after the other of them they gave birth to, and they multiply in earth. Right, so they explain it to you the generation of the Nephilim. Right. So that's the end of what he's calling version A of the creation. So there's another version there that we could possibly read. So I put the link in the chat. So if anybody is interested in coming in, you can most definitely hit the link. You can most definitely hit the link. So give me a second. I'm going to go and I'm going to share the live right now to see if I could get more people to come in, right? So right now, I'm sharing the live, and I'm hoping by the time I finish doing this, someone will want to come in. So while I'm doing that, if you want to come in, hit the link. If you have anything to add, hit the link. If you want to criticize, hit the link. So I'm down for some interaction tonight with you guys. So I don't know who might come in tonight. I had rest last night, my brother Reggie. So hopefully another heavy hitter will come in tonight and help me out. So I read version B there of the. Excuse if you hear any sound in the background. That's the fan. It's very hot here, so I'm running the fan. So I think since I read version A, I'm going to go ahead and read version B to give those who want to come in an opportunity to come in if anyone wants to come in. So let me go back and read what they call in version B. The book of knowing the evolutions of Ra over a tenth of the words of Nebecha, he says, I was, or the creator what came into being in the form, oh no, I'm not going to read that. Give me a second. I think there should be another Medu lecture one here. I don't know if it's after this, but give me a second to get myself together to look for the text because I wasn't prepared to actually do this. It's just on the fly to give you guys some content. So forgive me if I'm a little disorganized and scatterbrained. I'm just giving, all right. So this one here says the legend of Ra and the Set. So that's another text that we have there to read. So let me drink a little water here. And blab and just talk a little. I've been on here for a little while. I think I might go up to a half an hour. And then get up out of here. I had something to do, so I'm sorry for the late hour. So let me go ahead and read the text. This is called The Legend of Ron Isis. Hieroglyphic text with the transliteration translation. Chapter of the divine nature, self-produced, the maker of heaven and earth, and the breath of life, of fire, of nature, of men, of beasts, of cattle, of reptile and creeping things, of the fowl of the air, of fishes, the king of men and nature, in form one to whom periods are as years. All right, right. The king of men and nature in one form to one form, periods of 120 years are as years of many names, not known. You know what? This is the way he writes this. So let me start off from the top. Chapter of the divine nature, of the divine self-produced nature, the maker of heaven and earth, the breath of life, of fire, of nature, of men, of beasts, of cattle, of reptiles and creeping things, of the fowl of the air, of fishes, the king of men and nature, in one form, periods, as year, as many, one, right, as, right, one form, periods, as years, of many names, not no, of many names not known, is that nature, not known is that the nature, behold, a set was in the form of a woman who was skilled in words. Her heart rebelled at the millions of of men. She chose rather the millions of the nature, and she esteemed the millions of the spirits. Could she not be in heaven and earth like Ra? Made herself mistress of the earth and a goddess. She meditated in her heart by knowing the name. She meditated in her heart, wanting to know the name of the holy nature, which is Ra. Behold, came in Ra every day in front of, it says, his sailors, and was established upon the throne of the two horizons. Had become old. He had become old, the divine one. He dribbled at his mouth. He poured out his extrusions upon the ground, and his spittle fell upon the earth. Isis kneaded it in her hand with earth which was on it. She fashioned it in the form of a serpent, a sacred serpent, in the form of a dart. It did not move along. So let me stop here. Oh, shucks. Let me stop here. Let's see if anyone wants to come in. I'm not so fortunate tonight to have anyone to want to come in. So I think I'm going to end here with a little suspense. So, ladies and gentlemen, you have a good night, and I will see you tomorrow with a continuation of the Kemetic starter pack. Cuckoo!